Hey, good morning. It's me, Pinky. Oh, it's not even morning. It must be about noon now. I was just sitting in here in the bedroom, looking out the window, watching the neighbor put up his new fence. He must have went and got himself a little bit of education on the New Mexico State Fence Me Out laws, and figured out that he was in the wrong, and now he's got to put up a fence. That man has brought out the ugly in me. I have taken every opportunity to shoot rude comments across the street as often as possible. This morning, I told him I hope they find the shit out of him. I said, I walked by and, walked by my side, and he's out there piddling around with this fence. And I said, oh man, that sure is a nice garden. And he looks over and smiles. And I said, I hope they find the shit out of you for that illegal garden. He just kept walking, and he went like, oh my God. He's made a true enemy out of me. We're never going to be friends, I can tell already. I knew it for a while, but now I'm sure. You need up here, girl? Come here, I'll help you up. My poor old girl can't get up on the bed no more. I wanted to, and that's the thing, is that, fence me out state, and I don't know how many of those there are in the country, but I know there's a few over on this western part of the country, because grazing animals and livestock are allowed to roam to eat. That's just it. And in a community where you're allowed to have livestock, that holds true. That's the truth. Come on, girl. Can you put your front legs up? Okay, hold on a minute. And there we go. And so I assume that he finally, somebody finally told him, yeah, they're right. You got to fence them out if you don't want them in, And it's not that I'm trying to be an asshole and that I want my animals to be going over bothering everybody. It's just the fact that, my animals bothered them one time. Their animals have bothered me consistently for 3.5 years or something, since they started building that house right after we got married. So it's been 3.5 years that I have put up with their bullshit every single day. And that's the deal. Mine bother you one time and you turn on me and flip a whip at me and shit. Anyway, Skee, that German Shepherd, he was here all day yesterday, all night last night. I couldn't even feed my animals till pretty late because I didn't want him to eat all my dog food, and then he wouldn't go away, and I ended up having to just feed him too. And then this morning, and the thing was, he's getting a little bit more aggressive, and he's very heavy. I think he probably weighs like the same as me, like 130 pounds or something. And I was sitting out on the porch out here in the front, and he was crawling on me, trying to get on my lap and stuff. And then he was trying to get in my window, in my living room window. And he was like trying to push me when I would go in the door, and I couldn't hardly hold him back. He like puts all his weight up against you. And then one time I kind of kicked him, and he bared his teeth at me, which is my own fault, But anyway, I was getting ready to go over to my brother-in-law's real quick, and so I said, well, this is perfect, because he had followed me to school this morning when I took Olivia, so I knew he would follow me again. So I took him right over to his house, and I knocked on the door, and I guess his dad was in the shower or something, and it took him a while to get to the door while I was already headed back to my car. And I said, this dog, I said, I can't even go, he's really getting to be a nuisance now. I need you to keep him confined. And I was a little bit pissy about it, because he had been climbing all over me and made me have a bad morning. And because really, it's not that big of a deal, except for the fact that my dogs are being mean to him, and I don't want him to get hurt, and he doesn't fight back. And Levi was kicking the crap out of him all day yesterday, and he would kind of put his teeth, but just enough to get Levi away from him. He wouldn't fight, he wouldn't fight back, and I didn't want him to fight, but I want him to protect himself, Anyway, so I run to my brother-in-law's. I drive around the corner, and Skee's back in my yard. And then about that time, the guy's daughter-in-law calls my girlfriend, and she says, is Skee over there? And I said, yes, I took him home, and he already followed me back. He's already back over here. Well, that man and his wife were outside when the neighbor came to get the dog, and I was just standing there holding him. I had him tied up, and they were just looking at me, and I'm just looking at them, And he pulls up, and he's apologizing up and down. I am so sorry, and I'm like, no, it's okay. Don't worry about it. Because I'm not mad. I mean, it just irritated me this morning, but I'm not mad about the dog. I really like the dog, and If I didn't have any dogs, I wouldn't even care if he hung around because he's a super nice dog, you know. But and he just kept apologizing, and I just kept saying, "Don't worry about it, don't worry about it." Well, he parked his truck here, and then he was going to walk the dog home, and I said, "Do you want me to walk him home for you, and then you can just drive your truck?" And he was like, "No, it's okay. I'll just walk him." I said, "Okay." So I handed the rope over to him, and then I turned and walked away and started to walk away, and then I turned back and I said, "But he really is a very nice dog. I have no problems with it." And he said, "He really is a nice dog." I said, "He's one of the nicest dogs I've ever met. I've never met a dog like that before, you know. That was just so big and so super sweet, you know. Not even will fight to save himself, you know." And they were standing there watching me. And so then I turned to walk away again, and then I turned right back at him, and I looked him right in the face, and I said, "That's how you treat your neighbors." And I just turned around and walked in the house. They both, you know, that, like I said, that man, I know that ugly ain't pretty sometimes, but it damn sure is satisfying at times. You know, the guy deserves it. He deserves a little bit of what he's been putting out there. And like I said before, I'm not a mean person by nature, but I can be mean as hell. And, you know, I don't know. I would love for that argument to be over, but he pissed me off, and I haven't got over it yet, you know. And the more I think about it, and the more I think about all the trouble that his animals have given me, and mine gave him, you know, 5 seconds of trouble, and his have given me 3 years, you know. Megan called last night. Finally, we got to have about a good 5-minute conversation. Um, you know, she says if they don't indict her by next Wednesday, they have to cut her loose. Of course, they could pick her up again if they get enough to hold her, you know, come after her again. The thing is they don't have the other, the people who she says did actually do the robbery. She said that she gave this guy her phone, which she did the night before, and because she didn't have minutes on it, and he could get minutes on it, so she pulled out her old Cricket phone the next day. But she had given this kid this Verizon phone, and it's the one that was found at the scene. And he also had access to her car. Megan had been to this people's house earlier in the day and sold them a laptop. You know, and since, but I don't understand how her friends, okay, this is where it comes in, the conspiracy part, how her friends knew to go back to the same place where my daughter had been and sold a laptop in her car. You know, I mean, obviously there was some type of conspiracy. There was some sort of discussion about, she said the guy got handsy with her and she got kind of crappy with him, but she sold him the laptop and she left. And, you know, like I said, I don't know the truth. I don't know, you know, I don't know the ins and outs of it. I don't know it all. But that's what she says happened. So if they don't indict her by next Wednesday, they will have to cut her loose, and she'll have to pay a $50 bond on this domestic violence thing that she's in, and then she would be out for a while. But she won't be able to leave the state because she's still going to be, you know, under investigation for this crime. If they don't indict her now, I know that this is going to go to trial. That's a big crime. $70,000 bond, that's a big crime. They, like I said, they did drop her bond to $25,000, and the bondsman, her man called me yesterday too, and he was taking money down, trying to get a check cash so that he could take money down to put money on her books. And he was also had talked to a bondsman, and the bondsman said that he could get her out on 3%. That's still an awful lot of money. That's about, I think, $830 some odd dollars or something. I can't remember. I figured it out, but hey, quit crying. So that's the update on that, and at least I did get to talk to her. She was crying. She said, "Mommy, this just isn't me. I don't want to live like this. I don't want to be having this kind of life. I don't want to do this." And you know, I said, "Mijita, you know what? I know you don't want to do it, and I hope that it's not too late. I hope that you won't have to do it. But if you do, you know, you're just going to have to be a big girl, and you're just going to have to get through it, and you're going to have to make something good of it, you know, somehow, some way, some good's got to come of it." She was crying about Olivia starting school yesterday and her not being here, And I told her that I videoed it for her, and that, she cried and cried, and then she was talking to Olivia, and it just got disconnected. And Olivia was telling her mommy, "Don't worry, mommy, don't worry, don't worry." It was so heartbreaking. But anyway, I don't want to cry about it today. I'm in a fairly decent mood. I feel pretty good. I have got to get a shower. This humidity is doing me in. Um, but that's the update, okay? All right, well, peace to you all. I love you. Be blessed. I hope that you got a chance to watch my Mob Candy book recommendation, and that if you get the opportunity, that you would pick that book up. It would be great, because I would love to see that second book get published. And if we don't sell some of these books, it's not going to. Plus, it's a great book. It'll make a great book for your collection, for anybody that likes that type of stuff. Crime novels, true crime, any of the mob history, any of that. You know, you'll love the book. So anyway, I'll talk to y'all later. It's 11 minutes. Peace. Be blessed. I love ya.